Everyone, it's Miss Quick. So this is our last video with subtraction with borrowing because we've made it through all the different examples and all the different steps, which will always be the same no matter how many place values you have. So in this last video, we're just going to cover what you do when you have zeros and you're subtracting a 3-digit number from a 3-digit number. Okay, and also if you are comfortable not using the hundreds, tens, and ones chart from now on, if you think you understand what's happening, you do not need to use the hundreds, tens, and ones chart as long as you're showing where you're Xing out and borrowing. Okay, but if you like to see what you're doing, then make sure you're still using the hundreds, tens, and ones chart. Okay, so our first example that we're going to do is 500 minus 237. Okay, so as always, we start with the ones place, 0 minus 7. So let's put up 0 fingers. Okay, let's take away 7. You can't do that. So I will need to borrow, and I'll have to draw out my hundreds, tens, and ones chart. Okay, let's think, how many hundreds do I have in the number 500? I have 5 hundreds, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have no tens and no ones because there are zeros in both of those place values. Now remember, our goal is to have numbers in our ones so that we can take away, because we always start with the ones. But you need to get numbers in the tens before you can borrow for the ones. Otherwise, if we were taking 100 and bringing it to the ones, that will be 100 ones that we would have to draw out. And that's not what we're going to do because that would take forever and be a little bit confusing. So let's start by borrowing 100 and bringing it into the tens. Remember that 10 tens is 100. So I'm going to draw that out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I will cross out that 100 so I know it's not there anymore. Before we borrow for the ones, make sure you always write down what you just did over on your numbers. So I had 500s, just took one away. Now I have 400s, so I'll cross out the 5, make it a 4. I had no tens at first. I just brought over 10 tens. So that means I'm going to cross out the 0, make it a 10. Now that I've shown what I've done, now I can borrow for the ones place. So I'll circle a 10, bring it over to the ones place. There were no ones there originally, so I'll just bring over 10 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I will cross out that 10 since it's not in the tens place anymore. I just brought it to the ones place. Now let's go over to our numbers and show what we just did. So I had 10 tens in my tens place. I just took one away, so now I have 9 tens. So I'm going to cross out the 10, make it a 9. Okay, and then originally I had no ones in my ones place, and I just added 10 ones. So I'm going to cross out that 0, make it a 10, and now I have enough ones to subtract from. So I have 10 ones, take away 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 10 minus 7 is 3, so I'll write that in my ones place. Now I can move to the tens place. So 9 minus 3, so 9, take away 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 6. So 9 minus 3 is 6, so I'll write that in my tens place. Now I can move to the hundreds place. So 4 minus 2, 4, take away 2 is 2. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 2, and my answer is 263. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase this. I'm going to give you an example. When I write it down, I would like you to pause the video, try it on your own, and then play the video again when you're ready to talk about it. Okay, the example I would like you to try is 605 minus 396. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one on your own. Okay, now that you've played the video, let's talk about this question. As always, we're starting with the ones. So 5 minus 6, 5, take away 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't have enough numbers, so I will need to borrow. So let's make our hundreds, tens, and ones chart so we can see what's happening. I have 6 hundredths because there's a 6 in the hundreds place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have no tens because there's a 0 in the tens place. And I have 5 ones since there's a 5 in the ones place. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and now remember, I need to get some more ones so that I can subtract, but I can't just take from the hundreds. So the first thing I'll need to do is I'll need to borrow 100, bring it to the tens so that there are tens there for me to borrow. So I'll circle 100, bring it to the tens. Remember that 10 tens is 100, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and I will cross that out so I know it's not there anymore. Same thing, I know we need numbers for our ones place, but because we just did a step in borrowing, we need to stop where we are, show what we just did and what we just changed up on our numbers before we move forward. So remember, I started with 6 hundredths, I just took one away, now I have 5 hundredths. And I started with no tens at all. So I had none at all, and I just brought 10 over. So instead of having 0 tens, I now have 10 tens. So I'm going to cross out the 0, and I'm going to make it a 10. And now that I've shown what I've done up on my numbers, now I can borrow a 10 and bring it over to the ones. So I will circle a 10, bring it over to the ones. So that means I'll have to put 10 more ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and I'll cross out that 10 since it's not there anymore. Now over on my numbers, let's show what we just did. I had 10 tens. I just took one away, so now I have 9 tens. So I'll cross out that 10, make it a 9. And now let's look at my ones place. Remember that we started already with these 5 ones. They were there already. And then I added 10 more. So 5 plus 10 is 15. So I'm going to make this 5 a 15. Okay, now I have enough ones where I can subtract 6. So sometimes the easiest thing to do for subtraction is start with the lower number, add up to the bigger number. So I'll put 6 on my head, count up to 15. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 15 minus 6 is 9. So I'll go ahead and write a 9 in my ones place. Now I can move over to my tens place. So it looks like we're doing 9, take away 9. So 9, take away 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. So you will be putting a 0 in your tens place right here. Okay. Now the last thing I have to do is just 5 minus 3. So 5, take away 3. 1, 2, 3 is 2. So I'm just going to write that in my hundreds place. So our answer is 209.